What is going on, Niner fans? This is the man, the myth, the legend that everybody wants to talk about. We're finally here to talk about it. Christian McCaffrey, CMC, RB1. There's so many updates. There's so many different things. There's so many things to hear and listen to and talk about. Christian McCaffrey, is he healthy? Is he not healthy? I don't know. I'm going cross-eyed thinking about it. But according to, Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey is questionable for Sunday. As we know, he said he got the injury yesterday. He didn't want to talk about it. He was really upset during his press release. I'm not going to answer the question about any injuries to Christian McCaffrey or any of the guys. And he says it happened yesterday. He was like, I'm questionably concerned. He's not giving us anything. CMC says, I feel great. I'm playing. I plan to play. He says they're over-exaggerating it. Like Christian McCaffrey said this last year. This is the same thing he said last year. It feels like deja vu. You know that Olivia Rodrigo song? It feels like deja vu. Ooh, ooh. Literally what I thought. I know you love that singing. I thought it was deja vu when I saw Christian McCaffrey sit there and say what he said today. Hey, man, I love the optimism. I know he wants to be positive. But I remember sitting here posting the same video. And he was like, all the Instagram doctors, blah, blah, blah. He says the Instagram doctors, they don't know what they're talking about. And he literally missed like 8 weeks. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic because I want him to play. And I know we need him. But at the same time, you have chronic Achilles issues. Last year, you had a chronic Achilles tendonitis and bilateral Achilles tendonitis, chronic. And it's one of those things. So it can recur. Overuse, like it's a wear and tear, overuse injury. He was fantastic all offseason. Training camp looked amazing. He had the juice back, but now it's flared up out of nowhere. Ooh, my man Julius says, I didn't know you had the cords like that. You got y'all, you know what? Danny says, everyone is healthy finally. Raj, sometime this week. It was for like a brief 2 hours yesterday. Everybody was healthy. I was like, oh, it was nice. I felt great. I was like, oh my God, everybody on the 53-man roster's here. I was hyped. I was like dancing, juking and jiving. And then boom, boom, boom. Christian McCaffrey news came out. And I'm like, okay. But again, he did say he feels cautiously, he said, sorry, Kyle Shanahan says he's, questionably concerned. But Christian McCaffrey says he feels great. He feels great. But of course he's going to feel great because Christian McCaffrey is the type of guy that wants to play no matter what. He could be shot in the neck. He could be stabbed in the chest, and he'll still say he feels great. That's CMC. He's got a dog mentality. He's tough. He's gritty. He plays. He plays whether you want him to or not. That's Christian McCaffrey. That's the mentality. That's the way I look at it as. Again, I think he's a fantastic player, but got to be careful. So he's probably going to play because questionable usually is a good sign that you're going to play. It's a good indicator. Usually when you're questionable, you play most of the time. I don't know the exact statistics, but I'm sure they're out there. But when you're questionable, it's just like a precautionary tale, unless like you have a setback before Sunday, before game day. So whether he plays or not, fire up the Brian Robinson Jr. stocks. Like stocks are going up. If you're a fantasy player and you don't have Brian Robinson Jr. on your roster and you have CMC, go handcuff. You better go claim him now. I did it yesterday on all my teams. That he was available. I don't even have CMC, but I added Brian Robinson because whether he plays or not, it's one of those things where you need to make sure you have your insurance policy. And the Niners got an insurance policy in Brian Robinson Jr. So, 49ers media says CMC was questionable last year versus the Jets. Yeah, and that was the surprise of the year. I remember we talked about it yesterday. CMC, questionable. And everybody thought he was going to play. Everybody expected him to play. He says, I'm going to play. I'm going to play. I'm going to play. I'm going to play. Boom. An hour before game kickoff. Boom. He was not playing. Adam Schefter, crazy nuke bomb. And we're sitting there going, what? So, yes, most of the time they're going to play. But there's the very few exceptions. And last year was one of those exceptions. And that's why I said it feels like deja vu. Because I was sitting there listening to everything that happened today. I was reading all the updates, posting all the updates, and I'm going, God, I feel like this is the exact same place as I was last year. It's just so weird. He didn't practice, but they were questionable. They're saying they're being cautious. And then CMC says, I feel good. I don't know, man. It's weird. Tough. And if you play him and he gets hurt, then you're pissed. Then you're frustrated. Then you're cooked. So it's a tough situation. You got to be cautious. Ace Boogie says, how is Brian Robinson a free agent in your league? You must play with nobodies. Yeah, you know what? Some people just ain't gotta like me. I mean, some of those Yahoo public leagues, they got some nobodies. But yeah, on my like main leagues where I'm playing with like actual like people that I know, we have like big. He wasn't available for sure. There's like 3 leagues, Yahoo public league. I was like, oh, gotta scoop him up. It's okay. We got Robinson Jr. Exactly. That's the insurance policy. And then behind him is going to be Isaac Garendo, because Jordan James is officially doubtful for Sunday. He's got the broken finger he's recovering from. So, yeah, it's probably going to be CMC, Brian Robinson, Isaac Garendo in that order. Now, if CMC doesn't go, then you have Brian Robinson and Isaac Garendo. So, do I play with Smitty? No, I don't. I am not in his fantasy league. I should have joined him, but I too late. Julia says CMC has the incoming dad strength. Yeah, he does. But at the same time, dad strength can't fix a chronic Achilles or calf issue. You know what I mean? So in Brian Robinson, we trust. Yeah. 49er Ben says this Achilles injury is probably week to week. Yeah, it's this calf issue. Again, it's a chronic condition. He had bilateral Achilles tendonitis. Now he's got the calf flare up. The calf is pretty much where your Achilles tendon, it connects to the gastroc and everything. And they're all closely related there in that whole group of muscles. And you're right. Like if he has a flare up one week or he works too hard and he overuses it, he could have a calf strain or he could have a calf issue, whatever the case is, throughout the year. So it's something that you got to be very careful, and you have to, take your due diligence and make sure you don't overwork it. So, I think they were cautious yesterday and they were a little worried, and they were like, okay, let's see how we go here. And it's going to be one of those things that they're going to have to monitor throughout the year. And, CMC feels good, but they're going to be cautious. But again, he's always going to feel good. I hope he comes out on Sunday and goes crazy, but at the same time, you just can't overwork him. If he plays, you still just don't want to overwork him. You got Brian Robinson. You got to let him take those yards, man. You got to let him take the carries. Tough injury, man. Julia says, if this injury was serious, the report would have been doubtful. Listen, man, he's got a lot of miles on his legs. He's had a history of calf injuries. It's not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not even the third time. He's had a multitude of calf injuries. They stay with you. They linger. To me, it's more serious than the average person might think, because I literally work with these things on a daily basis. I don't know. I'm just going to hold my breath and hope he's okay. But I do worry when it's a lingering chronic condition. So we'll see. Again, it could be very minor, but again, these things can go and become bigger as the season progresses, because he's going to be running. He's going to be doing a lot of wear and tear on his calves, and he's had injuries before. I just hope that they play it safe and he doesn't overwork himself, because Christian McCaffrey's the type of guy that's going to just run through a brick wall no matter what. He is a gamer. He's tough, but you just don't want him to cause any damage. You know what I mean? So my man learns his Kyle isn't the sharpest tool of the shed. He's not playing, says Niner GOC. I think he's going to play. I honestly think he's going to play, but I wouldn't be surprised if they, tell us he's not on game day. So, CMC does play hard, Christine. He plays very tough, man. He's a grinder. Like I said, he's the type of guy that just wants to go out there and go crazy. So, I don't know. I just hope they don't overwork him if he plays. You need Brian Robinson in there, Isaac Garendo. And we've said that all offseason. Just make sure you keep him at a moderate. You use him in moderation, right? When they say you can have sweets, you can have, the junk food, you could have like certain food that you probably shouldn't have every day, in moderation. Anything that's good, you have to have in moderation. Don't want to have too much of a good thing. Got to have CMC in moderation. If you overindulge in CMC, bad things are going to happen. So my man Carl says, knowing CMC, he's going to play. I know. I think so too. I think he's going to play. because he just doesn't want to sit. And last year, I feel like you could tell he was like, it felt like he was so irritated not being able to play. He went all the way to Germany to get, the injections, right? The PRP injections, platelet injections. And he did everything he could in his, willpower to play. He's determined. Christian McCaffrey's a great player. And again, he just wants to go out and play his heart out, and sometimes it's not the safest thing. But again, from everything that's happened this week, he was a full participant on Monday, and Tuesday they didn't have practice. Wednesday, boom, he practiced in full. Yesterday he was limited, and everybody's starting to worry. And then today he didn't practice, but he says he feels good. They're being cautious. Everybody's overblowing it. He feels good. I mean, the person knows their body more than anybody, but at the same time, this is CMC. He's going to say he feels good no matter what. So I just hope that he doesn't push himself to the limit and something serious happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. I've seen it happen too many times where someone feels good and they're ready to go and the adrenaline carries them, and then boom, something just devastating happens. So I wish everything but greatness for CMC, and I hope that nothing crazy happens. Like, we don't want any Achilles tears. We don't want any of that stuff. We don't want a Halliburton. We don't want a Greenlaw situation. We just want CMC to go out there, ball out, and be our fucking dog for us. So, Julia says, we went from JJ calf drama to CMC calf drama and JJ contract drama. But Kyle Shanahan says, Juwan Jennings looks good. He feels great. He's going to, be able to play on Sunday, and, everything checks out good. So that's good news. Dominic Pooney's off the injury report. He's playing Sunday. Again, the only two players that came up on the injury report other than Christian McCaffrey are Jordan Watkins and Jordan James, the two rookies, running back and wide receiver. They'll probably call up a wide receiver tomorrow. I'm guessing they'll pull up Russell Gage onto the active roster. Maybe they'll pull up another wide receiver, maybe like Robbie Chosen or something. But, you got Ricky Pearsall, you got Juwan Jennings, you got Sky Moore, you got MVS, and you're probably going to have Russell Gage there, because Jordan Watkins is probably going to be inactive on game day. And then maybe you get Robbie Chosen. So that's what their receivers are going to look like. I think that's a pretty solid set overall. With all the drama we had in the offseason, not bad. JJ and Jennings should be good. So you can't, my man AJ says, you can't be hurt 2 seasons in a row, man. How can you have a job? It's not my fault he's hurt. It wouldn't have been my job, but you're right. How can you have a job? It's tough, man. Danny says, remember some people started a talent show on your IG live singing? Yeah, remember that? And then they blew up, and then they went on Debo's show, and then Debo was live, and it's some crazy stuff. Now, the big question is, okay, Christian McCaffrey says he feels great. Do you believe he feels good? Do you believe he's good? Like, do you believe the words that are coming out of his mouth, or is it just pacifying us? I feel like part of it is he probably does feel good. Again, he knows his body, but at the same time, I feel like he's got to say something positive, because people are freaking out. They are over-exaggerating, like he said. But at the same time, we look back at last year, and like I said, it is deja vu. And I'm like, man, you told us this last year. You didn't play week 1, and then, you were out a multitude of weeks because of that issue with the bilateral Achilles tendonitis. So that's my only worry is, yeah, you've told us this before, and last time you told us this, it wasn't great. So I feel like you got to be cautious with what you hear and say. But, he's the source. He's the ultimate source. He is the guy that we're talking about, and he says he feels good. Like, if someone tells you they feel good, you should be able to take their word for it, right? Most of the time. But we've seen this scenario play out before. So, I don't know. He effing with us? He might. He's going to add to the Brock Purdy legend? He might. His vibe was real different when he was asked how he was doing. Yeah. The vibe for Kyle Shanahan was just like, he was irritated answering those questions. But everybody in the media is going to ask you those questions. So, oh, man. Unbelievable. Let's see. Last time we won 6 games, we went to the NFC Championship the next year. Yeah, let's take it one day at a time, my boy. Let's see if we can get through this CMC drama, right? I feel like maybe he's going to play as a backup, and that's it. I don't know. I feel like if he plays, they got to be very careful with him and limit him. You don't want to go overboard with him. But again, once CMC's in there, the adrenaline's cooking, and he's going to want to just go out there and be CMC. So he's the type of guy. He said it last year. If he's out there, he's ready to play CMC type football. So I don't think he wants to just come in there and pussyfoot and get a couple of touches and be a decoy. That's not Christian McCaffrey. If he's going to play, he's going to play. But again, the question is, how healthy will he be? How effective will he be? He's had these calf issues before. And if he goes out there and plays too hard on it, he can, aggravate it and make it worse. And that's what we don't want. So going to be a crucial day and a half here until Sunday, until game day. So we'll just see how it goes. That Brian Robinson Jr. trade, definitely clutch. City of Champs says, I think CMC will get limited touches. Much to his chagrin, he probably will. That's probably what should happen. But I just don't know, because I feel like when CMC comes in, he's going to want that ball. He's going to be like, all right, give me the ball, give me the rock, give me the ball. I feel good. It's just that's his mentality, is he feels good. Yeah. That's a good question, Arcel. The question is this game winnable without Christian McCaffrey? Absolutely. Brian Robinson Jr. is clutch. And the fact they traded for him is huge. And I think he can step in and play effective football as the running back. We still have a healthy Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, got George Kittle. I still think the Niners can win this game even without CMC. Now, with CMC, definitely. I have the Niners winning, 27-24. That's my 27-24, 27-21, around that area. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm feeling with this game. With or without CMC, I think they could do either. They could still win with that score. But it's not going to be easy. Definitely changes things a lot. But I think Kyle Shanahan can win without Christian McCaffrey. I mean, look at last year, right? No CMC. Jordan Mason came in, and he was unbelievable. And it was like, oh, man, Jordan Mason stonks, right, going up. So I feel like Brian Robinson can come in and run and be effective. The thing is, with Kyle Shanahan's system, he usually gets running back that can go in the system, boom, plug and play, and they can be great. You know what? They'll be able to get 100 yards, touchdown. Now, he may not be CMC. He's not CMC. He's not as talented as him. He's not as good as him. But he's still effective enough that way he could come in and run this offense well. And then you got the defense. You got Fred Warner, you got Nick Bosa, you got Diablo Lenore. Got a young studs, all over this place. You got players, that we're excited to see, Michael and CJ West and up and style. I still think the Niners win this game. Definitely not going to be easy. My man, Boss Man, he says, likes the shirt. It's John Cena's last SmackDown tonight, man, of all time. End of an era. Dun, 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 dun. But, hey, this is going to be a good one on Sunday. Division game. You got to start with the win. You got to go 1-0. You cannot fall to 0-1 to start the season, especially to a division team. I mean, you can, but you don't like it. It's not ideal. I feel like the Niners have to come into this game and win it, go onto the road. I mean, that's ideal, right? It's an ideal situation. So it is. It looks windy. Yeah, I got the fan on. That's why it looks windy. The return of the calf. Calf strikes back. Yeah. Julius says, if CMC plays this Sunday, could he be used as a decoy? And that's what I was just talking about. Is I don't think he wants to play. Even if Kyle tells him you're going to be a decoy, I think once the game goes, he's just going to be so pumped and boom. I don't think CMC is a decoy. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. My man Danny says, if Sam Darnold lights up this defense, I'm going to be sick. Oh yeah, I don't think any of us are going to be nice and happy and quaint if Sammy D takes the Niners to the woodshed. So let's hope that the Niners can contain him, get after him, rush after him, and put him on his back. And that's the thing. The Niners revamped this D-line. Bryce Huff, Nick Bosa, they got Michael, they got CJ, they got all these, big dogs on the D-line. And now it's time to see if Robert Saleh can really go after these non-mobile quarterbacks. And mobile when that time comes. But right now, the Niners traditionally have, put a good beat down on these non-mobile quarterbacks over the years, especially when Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator. The biggest Achilles is when they have mobile quarterbacks. They still got to figure that out. But I feel like with Robert, man, they're going to go crazy. I think they're going to be able to really limit Sam Darnold. And Kyle knows this guy. They've probably been in the film room. They know Sam Darnold. He played for this team. So it's a good advantage for them. They understand how to go against them. Now, on the flip side, Seattle's coach, McDonald, he definitely knows how to game plan for the Niners. He was the defense coordinator a couple years ago for the Ravens. If you remember Monday Night Football, Ravens, Niners, I mean, they dismantled the Niners and just made Brock Purdy look silly. And it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. So it's going to be a battle. Now we know why we traded for B-Rob. Yeah, it's definitely a big reason. I know obviously they wanted to get some insurance, but I think they really, really felt like, okay, if this calf issue ramps up again, we need to have insurance for him. And I think that was always the case with Brian Robinson, is make sure we have someone, to take some pressure off of Christian McCaffrey. And, we can ease him into the game and maybe give him less carries. Instead of 20, we can give him 13, right? And now I think the other part of that trade was you need a damn handcuff, a really good insurance policy. And also, you didn't have that with Isaac Guerrero because of his injury history. I feel like once they realized how, many injuries Isaac Guerrero was having, they were like, okay, we need a backup. We need a good, running back too. It's not Guerrero right now because he's too injury prone. So we have to have a very, very good running back too, because their running back too, the Niners, he's going to be a running back one at some point during the season. That's just the way it is. CMC might miss a game or two, here and there, or might be banged up like coming into this game. And Brian Robinson's going to have to really come in and be that effective, RB1, which is the reason why they were like, okay, we need to get this guy. He could come in and take a bulk of carries. He could take 15 carries. He could take 20 carries, if we really need him to. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be crazy. But last couple questions. What do you guys think? Drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think the score is going to be. Do you think the Niners win with or without CMC? Let me know. Share your thoughts on this game. Drop some bold predictions. I think it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a battle. Both coaches seem to really kind of know the other team, and I think the Niners, again, come out on top. It's going to be tough if CMC doesn't play. I think he will play, but they got to be very careful with them. I think Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle are going to be locked in with Brock Purdy, as they were all off-season during training camp. And I think that's going to be the big difference, is the Niners are going to be able to move the ball. And also I think defense is going to come up with a big turnover at some point. Fred Warner, De'Amon Lenore, I think one of those two guys is going to get a big, turnover, maybe a fumble or an interception, and the Niners can capitalize off that. I feel like that's going to be the difference. I feel like they're going to be aggressive and blitzing and take Sam Darnold out of this game. So let's see. Darnold throwing 2 interceptions, says Juniors. Carl says we win 27-20. Niners by 17. City a chance. 24-21. We got 31-17 from E. Young. Let's see. 34-17 by the California man. 26-17 says Christine. Workman Julius says 26-19. My man Tyler says Purdy 4 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing. Brain fart. Who's Seattle's coach again? It's McDonald. What's his first name again? It's McDonald. He used to be the defense coordinator for the Ravens. Can't think of his first name. Mike McDonald. But yeah, he was a new coach last year. It was his first year as a head coach for Seattle last year. And this is his second year as the head coach of the Seahawks. Wow. A lot of people are picking these Niners. JC says Darnold will see ghosts this Sunday. Hot Takes Vlad says Moody misses a kick or two. The Niners lose. Yeah, Mike. That was right. Mike McDonald. My man Isaiah says B-Rob 2 touchdowns. 30-24 says Faya KO 51 says D winners with a pick. Love it. Tyrant says Moody misses the field goal and we still win. I just don't. Come on, man. I don't want to see. If Moody misses a field goal, I'm going to be disgusted. Oh, man. Can we see the Seahawk Tua this Sunday? Seahawk Tua. Am I going to the game this Sunday? No, I wish I was. I was planning on going, but I actually have to go to work on Saturday morning. Unfortunately, they begged me basically because we still don't have an extra PT, and I do the weekend for the new admissions, and they're going to put a lot of new admissions in on tomorrow, or actually tonight. So I got to evaluate all those patients. And I looked at the flights. I wouldn't have been able to get a flight tomorrow. That made sense for me to get to the game. So unfortunately, I won't be going. So anyways, you guys have a good rest of your day. We'll be live a little later. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, take care of business. Let's hope the Niners win. Christian McCaffrey, he vows to play, but he is questionable. Do we start next week? Yeah, well, I'm going to hit you up, boss man. I actually have had no time but been busy. I'm going to hit you up. We'll talk about it. Take care. Go Niners. Love you.